Welcome students. Myself Mr. Santosh Kumar Padi, PGT Physics, Kendriya Vidyalaya Berhampur. Today we are going to discuss about the topic electrical energy and power, which forms a part of the chapter 3 of class 12th CBSE. Points to be discussed in this session are electric energy, heat produced in a conductor, electric power, units of electric power and energy, power consumed in series and parallel combination of resistors, and at last we shall discuss some numerical problems. So our first point of discussion is electric energy. What is electric energy? Where does it comes from? Who provides this energy? And what does this energy do? Where is it consumed? So in the diagram you can see I have considered a point charge plus Q. The point charge is released from rest at a point A. There exists an uniform electric field from A to B. The potential at A is higher and the potential at B is lower. Potential at A and B are represented by VA and VB. Now the potential energy of the charge plus Q at A is Q into VA, and the potential energy at B is Q into VB. Now clearly, since VB is less, so the potential energy of the charge will reduce when it moves from A to B. But there is no opposition. There is no opposing force which is acting to oppose the motion of the point charge. So the energy will not be lost in this case. So the total loss in potential energy of the charge, which is Q into VA minus VB, this loss in potential energy will be equal to the gain in kinetic energy, because the charge will accelerate from A to B, so its kinetic energy will increase, and the loss in kinetic energy, that is minus delta PE, will be equal to the gain in kinetic energy, that means delta K. The negative sign represents the potential energy is decreasing. Now let us consider another case, the motion of some charge inside a conductor. Here in this diagram, AB is a conductor and we have supplied a potential difference across the two ends of the conductor. At the first end A, the potential is VA, and at the other end the potential is VB. And there are a large number of free electrons inside the conductor which are moving randomly due to their thermal energy, and in this process they are colliding with each other. That phenomena or that concept we have discussed earlier. Due to this collision, the resistance appears. So when we supply some potential difference across the conductor, the electrons will drift from the low potential to the high potential region. This drift is in addition to the thermal speed. But while drifting, these electrons have to overcome the resistance, and some energy will be lost in overcoming this opposing force. So the loss in potential energy of the electrons, which should be equal to the gain in kinetic energy in an ideal case when no resistance was there, as we have discussed in the previous case. But the electrons here have to overcome the resistance offered due to the collision between them. So in this case, that means when the electrons will drift in a conductor, the total loss in potential energy will be equal to the gain in kinetic energy plus the work done against collision. Now, under steady state, when the electrons drifts with a constant speed, that means when we maintain a constant potential difference across the conductor, the total loss in potential energy, which is equal to Q into VA minus VB, will be equal to the work done against collision. It is because the gain in kinetic energy will be zero. So this work done is converted into heat energy. The heat energy which is developed inside the conductor is gradually dissipated from the outer surface of the conductor. Now let us see how much heat is produced in the conductor. When a steady current I flows across a conductor of resistance R, across which a potential difference V is applied, then the work done by the source is Q into V, as we have discussed earlier. Now this work done is converted into heat energy. This is under steady state when kinetic energy does not increase. So the total work done is converted into heat energy. Now see, current is charge per unit time. So charge is I into T. So QV becomes IT into V. And according to Ohm's law, since V equal to IR, so again it becomes I square RT. And again using Ohm's law, I square is equal to V square by R square. So the heat produced becomes V square T divided by R. This heat produced is dissipated to the atmosphere across the surface of the conductor. Now this energy is also termed as electrical energy consumed. Now come to our next topic, electric power. The electric energy consumed per unit time is called electric power. So electric power is equal to the rate of heat produced or the rate of electrical energy consumed or the rate of electrical work done. So it will be work done by time or heat produced by time. So eventually the formula for electric power is I into V or I square R or V square by R. This is in accordance with Ohm's law. The SI unit of power is watt, that is joules per second. This you know already. But the other units used for electric powers are horsepower. You can see 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. Generally, the power of electric motors, pumps, etc., they are rated in terms of horsepower. The other unit is kilowatt, and even bigger unit is megawatt. These bigger units are megawatt, gigawatt, like bigger units are often used to rate the power, electrical power produced at the power generating stations. Next, commercial unit of electric energy. The commercial unit of electric energy is kilowatt hour. When 1 kilowatt power is consumed continuously for 1 hour, then the total electrical energy is 1 kilowatt hour. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 kilowatt into 1 hour, that is 10 to the power 3 watt into 3600 second, and that gives us 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. This kilowatt hour is the board of trade unit. That means the electricity we consume at our home or the electricity which the consumers like factories, institutions, they consume, they used to pay the electricity company, distribution company, according to this unit. This 1 kilowatt hour refers to 1 unit of electricity consumed. the equation of power, that is IB is equal to IV or I square R or V square by R, has a very important application in the transmission of power over long distances. When power transmission has to take place and we have to transfer or transmit a huge amount of power, since the expression for power P is equal to I into V, so large amount of power can be transmitted if either large current is there or voltage is large or both are large. Now the voltage is usually kept large. Let us understand why. The very long transmission lines, they have a huge resistance. All of you know resistance is directly proportional to the length. So the very long transmission lines, they have very large resistance. Now if we keep the, see the point number 1, if we keep the current to be high, then the power consumed, which is I square R, so it's current into resistance. Now current is high, resistance is high, so the power consumed will be very high. Now consider the second case. If we transmit the power at high voltage, that means we will keep the voltage to be high. Now see, P is equal to V square by R. So the power loss in the transmission lines will be V square by R. Now V is high, so V square, we can say it's high square, high times high, but the resistance is again high. So it's high into high divided by high. It gives a moderate value. So as compared to high current, transmission at high current, the power loss at high voltage will be very less. So this is the reason because of why the voltage is stepped up to a very high voltage, typically in the range of 33 kilovolt or 132 kilovolt, before transmission along long distances. Next, power rating. The power rating of an electrical appliance is given in terms of two parameters, that is its power and voltage. For example, the power rating of a bulb is stated as 100 watt to 20 volt. That means the bulb will consume 100 watt of power if it is connected across 220 volt potential difference. But if the supplied voltage will change, then the power consumption will also change. So if voltage other than the power rating is supplied, or if the devices are connected in series or parallel combination, then we can calculate the power consumed by calculating either the current or the potential difference across the individual devices. So let's see an example. The power consumed in a series combination of appliances or resistors. So suppose there are three bulbs of rating 100 watt and 220 volt, and they are connected in series across 220 volt supply. We have to determine the total power consumed. Now see the solution. The resistance of each bulb will be V square by P. It's because P is equal to V square by R. So R is equal to V square by P, and that is equal to 484 ohm for each bulb. So the total resistance of the three bulbs in series combination is 3 times 484 ohm, that is 1452 ohm, and the total power consumed is equal to V square by R, that is 220. Now this 220 is the supplied voltage, it's not the voltage rating of the bulb. So 220 into 220 divided by 1452, that gives 100 by 3 ohm. So you see, if only one bulb would have been connected, then it would have consumed 100 watt power. But when three bulbs are connected in series, it's consumed one third of the power of one bulb. All the three bulbs combinedly consuming 100 by 3 watt. Your ohm written, or it will be watt. So 100 by 3 watt. The total power consumed will be 100 by 3 watt. Now, if all appliances of same voltage rating as of the supplied voltage, then we can calculate the total power consumed by all the appliances in series combination as per the formula 1 upon total power is equal to, that means the reciprocal of total power consumed is equal to the sum of reciprocal of the individual power rating of the appliances in series combination. Now let's see how much is the. Now let's see another example. Two bulbs of power 110 watt 220 volt and 125 watt 200 volt are connected in series across a 200 volt supply. So here you can see the voltage rating of the two bulbs are different. Now we have to determine the total power consumed. So here the voltage rating are not same. So what you have to do is find the resistance of the two bulbs by the formula R is equal to V square by P. Then find the equivalent resistance of the series combination, that means R1 plus R2. And then you have to calculate the total power consumed, which will be the square of supply voltage divided by the total resistance of the series combination. Let us now discuss about the power consumed in a parallel combination of resistors. If all the devices connected in parallel are of equal voltage rating, for example, a bulb of power rating 100 watt 200 volt and another bulb of power rating 60 watt 200 volt, these two bulbs have the same power rating, so same voltage rating, not power rating, same voltage rating. So if the voltage rating of the individual appliances in parallel combination are same, just as in this case it's 200, and this is also equal to the supplied voltage, that means supplied voltage also is suppose 200, then each device will consume its rated power. That means the 100 watt bulb will consume 100 watt power and 60 watt bulb will consume 60 watt power. So in such case, the total power consumed can be calculated as the sum of individual power rating. So if the two bulbs stated above are connected across 200 volt potential difference, then the total power consumed will be 160 watt. But if all the devices connected in parallel are of equal voltage rating, then let us calculate what will be the total power consumed if the voltage rating of the source, that means the connected voltage, is different than the voltage rating of the appliances. So in this question, three bulbs of power rating 100 watt 220 volt, 125 watt 200 volt and 100 watt 200 volt respectively are connected in parallel across 220 volt. Determine the total power consumed. So here you can see one bulb have a voltage rating of 220 volt, other two bulbs have a voltage rating of 200 volt. So they have different voltage ratings, and the supplied voltage is also different. It's 220 volt. Now all of them are connected in parallel. Now the first bulb will consume, see the solution please. The first bulb will consume 100 watt. Why? Because its voltage rating is same as that of the supplied voltage. Now the second and third bulb, their power consumed will be different. So we have to first determine their resistance. So here I have calculated the resistance of the second bulb is 320 ohm and the resistance of the third bulb is 400 ohm. So accordingly, I have calculated the power consumed of the second bulb to be 220 into 220 upon R2. Why I have taken here 220 in the power consumption is this is the supplied voltage. So the resistance is to be found out from the voltage rating of the appliance, whereas the power consumed has to be found out by considering the supplied voltage. So the power consumed by the second bulb comes to be 151.25 watt, and the power consumed by the third bulb comes to be 121 watt. So the total power consumed is the sum of the three power consumed, that is 372.25 watt. So here are some practice questions for you. The first problem is a heating element using nichrome is connected to a 230 volt supply, draws an initial current of 3.2 ampere, which settles after a few seconds to a steady value of 2.8 ampere. What is the steady temperature of the heating element if the room temperature is 27.0 degrees centigrade? The temperature coefficient of resistance of nichrome is averaged over the temperature range involved is 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 4 degrees centigrade. This is a problem from the NCERT textbook. The second problem is three resistors of 8 ohm, 4 ohm and 5 ohm respectively are connected in parallel. And this combination is connected in series across a resistance of 2 ohm. Determine the ratio of power consumed across the 4 ohm and the 2 ohm resistor. So you try out those practice problems now. It's all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.